All right, let's talk hosting. Today, we're diving deep into a 2026 review of Cloudways by Hosting Engineer. And we're here to answer one really important question. Could this be the hosting platform that finally lets your website reach its full potential? Let's get into it. But first, let me ask you this, and be honest. Is your current website hosting holding you back? I mean, if you've ever stared at your screen, frustrated by slow load times, confusing control panels, or those dreaded "your site is down" emails, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We've all been there. And let's be real, in today's world, that frustration is more than just an annoyance. It's a business problem. Your website's performance is absolutely non-negotiable. It doesn't matter if you're running a massive e-commerce store or a personal blog, a slow, unreliable site means you're losing visitors, customers, and credibility. Now, this is exactly the problem that Cloudways was built to solve. It's not trying to be just another hosting company. The whole idea is to take that powerful enterprise-level cloud technology, the stuff that big corporations use, and make it simple enough for anyone to use, without needing a PhD in server management. The term for what they do is managed cloud hosting. And the best way to think about it is like a concierge service for your server. You get all the incredible power of a high-performance engine, but you have an expert team of mechanics who handle all the complicated maintenance and tune-ups for you. So here's a really crucial point to understand. Cloudways doesn't actually own the physical servers. Instead, it lets you build your website on top of the best cloud infrastructure on the planet. I mean, you definitely recognize these names. Google Cloud, Amazon Web Services. These are the titans. Cloudways just builds that super simple, easy-to-use management layer right on top of them. Okay, so that's the big promise, right? Power and simplicity. But how do they actually pull it off? Let's break down the core features that the Hosting Engineer review really focused on. First up, and this is the big one, speed. Blazing fast performance. We all know this intuitively. A faster website just feels better, it keeps people engaged, and it's a huge factor for getting ranked higher in search engines. It's really the foundation of everything. And this is how they do it. It isn't just one magic button. It's a whole recipe, a stack of technologies, all working together. You've got these advanced caching tools like Breeze and Redis that serve up your content in a snap. You have CDN support to make sure your site loads fast for visitors anywhere in the world. And it's all built on the latest, most efficient server tech. It's the whole package. So you've got all this horsepower. The next big piece of the puzzle is, well, how do you actually drive this thing? That's where effortless management comes in. The goal is to give you total control, but without drowning you in technical jargon or complicated command prompts. And this is basically your mission control center. Everything is designed to be as simple as possible. Want to install an app? It's one click. Your site is getting more traffic? Scaling up your server is just a few clicks. And you've got automated backups for that critical peace of mind. The review makes a big point about their custom dashboard, and anyone who's wrestled with a clunky, old-school cPanel knows what a game changer that is. Of course, speed and control are great, but they mean absolutely nothing if your site is constantly offline or gets hacked. So the third pillar for Cloudways is rock-solid security and reliability, basically handling all the crucial protection behind the scenes so you don't have to. Think of it as your own digital fortress. Cloudways manages the heavy-duty server firewalls, they automatically apply security patches to the software, and they give you free SSL certificates to keep your data safe. And that 99.99% uptime guarantee? That's them putting their money where their mouth is. Okay, those features sound pretty impressive on their own, but context is everything, right? So how does Cloudways actually stack up against the other options you might be looking at? This is where the review gets really interesting. Let's start at the beginning with the most common entry point for almost any new website: cheap shared hosting. This is where your site is essentially sharing a home and all its resources with hundreds or even thousands of other websites. And yeah, the difference is pretty dramatic. This table really tells the whole story. With shared hosting, you save money, but you pay for it with poor performance and almost no room to grow. If one of your neighbors has a traffic spike, your site can slow to a crawl. With Cloudways, you have your own dedicated resources, which means way better performance and the freedom to scale up whenever you need to. The Hosting Engineer review really hits the nail on the head with this quote. It's the classic trade-off. Shared hosting is cheap, but you will hit a wall. Cloudways is about removing that wall completely. Okay, next up, let's look at a heavyweight competitor, WP Engine. Now, these guys are a top-tier premium provider that focuses exclusively on hosting WordPress sites. They're specialists. And the core difference here is all about flexibility versus specialization. WP Engine provides an absolutely fantastic, fine-tuned experience if and only if you use WordPress. But that's all they do, and you pay a premium for it. Cloudways gives you that same level of high performance for WordPress, but it also supports other apps, and usually at a more flexible price point. All right, what about the last comparison? This one's for the tech folks out there. What if you just skip the middleman and go straight to Amazon or Google to set up a server yourself? The classic do-it-yourself approach. This quote absolutely nails the answer. Going DIY is powerful, for sure, but it also means you just became a full-time server administrator. You're responsible for everything: the setup, the security, all the updates, troubleshooting when things break. Cloudways is that essential management layer that gives you all the power of the cloud without the massive headache. So, after looking at all the features and putting it head-to-head with the competition, what is the final verdict from Hosting Engineer's deep dive review? Let's bring it all home. Look, no service is perfect, and a good review is always honest about that. The pros are crystal clear. It's easy to use, incredibly fast, and super flexible. But the cons are important to know. You'll need a separate service for your email hosting, for instance. And if you're really used to an old cPanel, their dashboard will take a little getting used to. And here's the final report card. I mean, the numbers really speak for themselves. Scoring a 4.8 out of 5 for performance is just fantastic. And with high marks across the board, Cloudways earns an outstanding overall rating of 4.7 out of 5. That's seriously impressive. So this all leads to the big question. Is Cloudways the right choice for you? Because according to the review, while it's a great platform, it really truly shines for a specific group of people who are ready to move beyond the basics. And here is that ideal user profile. If you're a serious blogger who can't afford downtime, or you run an e-commerce store where every second of load time impacts sales, the value is obvious. Same for agencies juggling multiple client sites or developers who just need a flexible, powerful environment to work in. If that sounds like you, Cloudways is built for you. And that brings us right back to where we started. We began by asking if your hosting was holding you back. But now, after digging through this deep dive from Hosting Engineer, the real question to ask yourself is this: is your current hosting solution truly ready for the future you want to build?